Okay, so here we go. Say goodbye to the Huber Heights house and check out the neighborhood really quick. So what I'm getting at, Emily, we don't have to move to Yellow Springs or San Francisco. We don't have to move to Oregon. We don't have to move back to London, Pennsylvania. What we need is to acknowledge that we should be able to live wherever our true heart's desires safely and unify with other people who approve, whether they're in the actual trans community, what they call the trans community, or not. People of the earth who love and embrace us. Does it matter where that hug come from? If it's somebody who loves you, wants to love you, wants to hold you, wants to kiss you, wants to hold your hand and laugh with you. This is the things that I learned when I was with Daddy. In many areas, I don't want to say, I want to get away from complaining about anything, but in many areas of life, and when I was explaining my life story, a lot of the ugly and bad came out. But can I tell you that through the gentleman who owned a house and invited me out here, I learned a lot of ways that I want to be loved and that I appreciate being loved. And one of them was the fact that he held my hand and he would kiss me and hug me in public very proudly. I could tell by the look in his eye and his response to me that he was very, very attracted to me. And I was very much attracted to him too. The God in him that was loving me. And eventually I will be trying again to reach out to him. Since I've been being tormented, electronic harassment, it has proven to produce challenges that would not be there. I acknowledge that it is possible for a human, once even the basic needs are met, they can genuinely be happy and thankful to be alive. And then the a-holes come in to torment you because they have their own idea of what they'd like to do with you. Satanist, in my opinion, is never pretty. I will not steer from my heart. I think back at that house. That was the defining moment where my brain was on override, like a film projector, with endless warehouse amounts of film showing me the truth of the life I desire. A beautiful home in a safe, beautiful location. I wanted to be able to take care of the house, the landscape, to my idea. I want the freedom to create a home, an environment that when I walk through the door, I'm relieved. It's really my home. Quality furniture that I'd love to share with others who I want to invite into my life. A sturdy house that I can work in day and night. Because there's a lot of songs that I still have in me. You know? And what I realized is I would like to still form a ministry, and I'm working on it. And I would like to do it with others. I'm still figuring out the way, and the way that I've learned is I am the foundation, I am the rock, I am the centerpiece. And all of my desires are with others who are forming around me, like a melting pot coming together as one. I wanted for years. To be honest with you, I would have to say probably for 36, 37 years for someone to believe in me. Because I always was convinced and I believed that it could be a reality, my desires. But I didn't have the years of psychological study, biblical study, and I wasn't around a healthy mindset as I went through life. I went through the American school system, folks. I was a victim to watching television and watching Disney animation show me that this is funny to treat things like this. This is what's appropriate. I listened to the radio and all the commercials crammed down my throat. And now I'm convinced that I know the way. But I also understand that there are evil people in America. I met one of them. And they don't want you to form or I to form a rock and roll ministry. Especially those who speak openly about their love of Christ, their love of life, the necessity for the Holy Bible. And you know why that is? Because most of the worldly idols are of a creation from within the Creator, the human being. It's their whole approach and what they feel and deem appropriate. Where my approach is, I am the creation. God is the Creator. Jesus Christ is what forms me to become into light, into life. And the heart's desires are from within, and it's my obligation to freely make the choices in alignment that I stay on the pathway that's intended for me, which is of life eternal. A contribution to the heaven that is already here on earth. Now, I'm going to show you a house. It's available. When somebody's homeless, why don't they just have it? Why haven't we developed a country that is healthier for people to maximize their fullest life potential? Not so they can be reckless with it. That's not what I'm talking about. Not so they can be free to take the lives of others or destroy property or anything like that. Why isn't there an educational system together that guides people into the reality that what they really want is revealed when reading the Holy Bible, the life they desire to live? And why aren't we more supportive of helping others, assisting others? How about that? Assisting others to fulfill their heart's desires. I'm convinced that all my heart's desires can be fulfilled and that I know what needs to be done. And it's painful because it takes time, a lot of time, because I realize the people that were misusing and abusing me during my time of weakness, evidently they think they own entitlement to any worldly possession, like being on the radio. If it were up to me, I'd just go in to the local radio station and I would switch off every Bon Jovi song I ever heard. Off. Why? Because it's in my home territory. My song should be in its place and I should be collecting the royalties for that. Thank you. Because I'm a very serious recording artist. And I don't like other recording artists from other states honing in on mine. It's where I ended up because I was desperate and needed a place to survive. As well as others. I don't know what all the answers are. How about equality for people? And when somebody is justified as a serious recording artist, that people are kind to them when they approach them, rather than shunning them, rather than misusing and abusing them. Check out this house. We're pretty much done. But Emily, if you made it through this, know this, that right here in Huber Heights, we might have had to fight the law in the fact that this could be the next Yellow Springs. Hey, it's right down the road from a Walmart. You know, there's a fitness center within a realistic measure away from where we live. A couple miles. In other words, we could have got together, Emily, and we could have sued the state, the county, the township for adequate housing. Sue car lots for transportation. In other words, we should be given the entitlement that God gives us. We shouldn't be jailed for exercising our biblical truths, which is everything is for the Christ believer. And if nobody else is using it and it's just sitting there, then it's for the receiving department. I don't want to see the girls that I met in that house go through any more hard times because of the unjust setup that we have here in America. I try very hard not to judge circumstances because I've realized the transsexual community, they're under attack by people who have, not outside forces, not mysterious ones, by people who have the means, by satellites that were placed into outer space. And I guarantee you, NASA or whoever it was, they're not generating an income. They're using resources because that's what they do. They just use it. Do you think they're going to go work a day job to pay for the rocket fuel to launch the thing? No, they're not. Now, I'm sick of this foolishness. With NASA, Area 51, what else? Airplanes? How many of our airplanes commercialized? Oh, they're commercial. How many of them are really owned by anyone? And do they pay for all that? That's a lot of expense. How much do you think it costs to build one of those planes? Where do they get this money for? Are they flipping burgers at McDonald's? Are they bagging groceries? I believe, and I'm convinced that we live in a fake, false economy that doesn't exist. And as much as the dressing of a false reality is in the presentation, so is the real life of truth, which means we should also be able to fulfill our heart's desires, not for corrupted beliefs, not to get one over on another person's life, so we can draw nearer to our Lord Jesus Christ, God, our Creator, really, because Jesus leads us into our Father, the right way, the best way, the healthiest way, in love. Check out this house quick. Coffee, now butterscotch flavored. I need to quit. Will you pray for me to quit? Coffee. But who knows what could happen to me in the process of it. How about nothing? How about no? How about Tracilyn focuses on drinking more water instead of drinking coffee? Is that possible? Okay, check out this house. I walked around it the other day, and I'm thinking, you know, with my girlfriend Emily, who wanted to have a housing community. Well, it hit me. There's a housing community right here in Huber Heights. There's housing communities, entire communities, in other ghost town states, which really teased me off. Where did all this stuff come from that just existed, then they surrendered it? Why did they give up? Why did they start to build something and let it go? So here's a home that is vacant, and I'm sure just like any home that is vacant, there's reasonings it's vacant, and it probably needs tender, loving care. It has a garage. It has a front porch. Look at the windows. In my living room, I would not want a television for anything other than watching movies. Hopefully one that I was at least playing a small part in. Those are the kind of movies I want to watch. Maybe an adult film with someone that I care about. Wow, we did really good with that one. You know, we should go national with it. Now check this out, my music videos. Of course. Oh, and here's a yard. But you know what? In Huber Heights, I remember an officer recommending me that I lay in my swimsuit bikini in the backyard. I was thinking, wouldn't it be great if we got a bunch of people together in swimsuits and we went to the front of the Huber Heights police station yard at the main sidewalk and we had a front yard barbecue in our swimsuits. They're invited. Do it in love. I would love to do that with people who are bold and exercise our right to live, okay? Not everybody wants to live in a house, in a bedroom, crying, watching television, playing on the computer, sitting in a chair. In fact, I had my season of it, and I would be the one to tell you that once you are engaged in your desires, you're kind of like my daddy was. You're on the go. There's things that you want to accomplish. There's things you want to achieve. There's things that you want to do. God puts it inside of you. Away you go. You're on a mission for God. The God in your brain who's saying, quickly, around the corner. And you're running. And he says, now turn right. Be careful, watch your step. Now, I have realized for myself, and everybody's at a different place, I don't know and don't think that it would be wise for me to live with a bunch of people in one little house. I would have to start off with myself, get everything situated, and then bring in someone that can best match up with the ministry needs and desires. And somehow their desires are being fulfilled as well. And it's a commitment. And rather than doing things for a paycheck, you know, they're doing things to live. Kind of like my daddy. Unfortunately, we never really came to an absolute as to what would be considered best amongst us. Tiny little house, a shed. Now, obviously we don't want to shine too much on neighbors' yards, but here's the thing. What I'm saying is, one of these houses could have been Emily. One of these houses could have been mine. One of these houses could have been many girls from the community, and before you know it, they probably would have called this a gayborhood. And why is that? Because we're happy. Why? Because we're being ourselves, and you live in a neighborhood where when all else fails, you can ring a doorbell next door and say, hi, I need a hug. Unfortunately, in a lot of circumstances, life can be quite challenging, and things are momentarily, temporarily. So I've realized for myself that the dream still lives. My desire is still real. Is it for you, Emily? I would like to know. I hope you're reading the Bible, and I hope you're involved in a church that you approve of. and that you love to go sing songs to worship. Because I have learned that singing is free. Singing for me brings me closer to God, conscious mind, to love. Yes. That must be a squirrel nest. 2 of them. When I first came out here to Huber Heights, I realized that what? God must want me here for some reason, because it was the only place that I had to go. Now I realize that I don't want to be unappreciative for the love that has been shown, but I don't need other people to dictate what my appreciation should look like. I am set on that I am going to make all my desires become a reality. How? I don't know how. But I know it's going to start by me telling people in mainstream industry to leave me alone. Don't use me for a resource to write your hit songs on the radio. Which, by the way, when compared with real, true hit songwriters, you know what a real, true hit songwriter is? Somebody who says, God, give me a hit song. And God burrs it through them. And you're convinced it's true. And it's a hit song, if to no one else, to you. Don't ever let somebody else tell you your self-worth or what it is that you produce. Dog. Walking through the neighborhood. Hello, pup. Do you think it's friendly? If I ever get a dog again, it'll be a small dog. Is this like Benji or something? Let's see. What are you doing? Huh? Hi. What are you doing? Are you okay? Do you think this puppy's okay? Hi. Adorable, right? My mother used to have, I think, 2 dogs like this. Are they Cocker Spaniels or what is it? Responsibilities. One of the scariest things in owning a dog is will you be able to take care of it in its time of need? Knowing that you're attached to it mentally. Love. I would say don't be scared of love. Obviously that dog is not scared. I'm scared for it. I hope it has a home. And I realize that we want for other life existence the things that we desire. Companionship, homes. Right now I live in an apartment and there's pros and cons about it. The pro is I'm safe. I have not been hurt since I've been there. People are friendly, very friendly to me. With the exception of 1 or 2, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie to you. Things have mellowed out a lot. And I get to play my music. I've recorded almost 3 albums, and I'm starting finally what I desired in the Huber Heights house. I'm going to record Ragtop Cadillac with heart, passion, and fire, not in a heated rush. And I'm going to show you the difference between A, what happens when somebody's having fun with you, creating something that is going to be impactful in the world and music industry and people who love music. Show you the difference between the heated rush moment when the centerpiece has not been fully developed. I'm going to show you somebody who's passionate, in love, and determined to make every detail appropriate. I hope so. You will hear the difference. But no matter what you think, it's what I think that matters to me, because it's the soundtrack of my life. Now, a house without furniture. When I move again, what kind of home will I have? Will I have furniture? Will I have that studio that I always desired? Will I be stuck in the world's idea of low-income housing for the rest of my life? Is it appropriate? Sometimes I feel like going to D.C. and kicking in the fence and saying I'm staying here because I want to. And there's another part of me that says I'd never want to see D.C. again. At least not the White House, because it seems more like a stage prop to me. My home would not be a stage prop. However, it would be used for multi things, of course, in ministry. Crazy moments, even if I was by myself. Huber Heights house was filled with all kinds of crazy moments. And it was usually Tracilyn, shut your mouth, Tracilyn, go to your room, Tracilyn, be nice, you know. Life since I've been out here with all the people I've met and my daddy have been my life that I appreciate the most in all the years that I've been alive. I have no regrets for coming out here. I am grateful I'm alive. I realize now, Daddy, people were trying to kill me. They were trying to get me to meditate on suicide. I acknowledge the difference now. It's not in us in the Christ spirit to think words of death. It's always focus on life. And people who know this, they torment people mentally, however they do it. But they also use electronic means, laser lights, whatever it is that they're using. They divide relationships. They tamper with the thoughts. They manipulate people to surrender their possessions, especially as they're ready to transition on. The gentleman that I knew out here, Paul, a songwriter, can I tell you that in our conversations, I didn't understand clearly until 2012 that he was being electronically harassed as well, tormented, most likely. And because a songwriter who had personal accomplishments of doing things like down in Tennessee, connected to other musicians, other recording artists, songwriters, producers, favored by many people, loved by many. Satanist before we transition on what people call death. There is no death, but life. As we transition on, their ultimate goal is to disturb people to their closing of eyes. And in our conversations, things were not made specifically clear. But one thing that he instilled inside of me is God is real, not people's idea, and referring to idea of God. That's why I've realized the Holy Bible's where it's at, the answers. And most speakers stay away from words are God, the direct connection with the human race and how it works in the human race. Our belief system, it's all based on belief system. With that being said, they have electronic means and they take amazing songwriters who, in the illusion of everything like myself, should have been signed to a major record deal, released worldwide and on major tours, packing stadiums and arenas. To, as you get closer to that illusion of where your heart says you belong, you'll start to acknowledge as they buzz around you and alert you that they can see you while you're looking in the mirror. They can collect the data from your thoughts, okay? In other words, they will torment you that in the physical world, they have to live by the laws of the land. But in the mental world, they can literally, on your mental status, they can destroy you psychologically. Have you surrender things like property, possessions, anything material, worldly stuff, even your love for another human. They love to destroy lives. I've learned that these people, Satanists, they sit in a chair at a computer and they center people out as they observe them. They use them as resources. This is how, one way that the small percentage of people become worldly rich. There's a setup to it that's quite simple, and that is that they created an illusion of a world and a system setup that we are born into and we think is what was meant to be for our lives. And the truth of the matter is it's not so. They've taken advantage because they have technology. They take ownership by intrusion. They will watch and observe people, and as they're creating, they will take all of their ideas and they will use their ideas for their personal desires, advancement, achievement. I would have to say that the wealthiest people of the earth are wealthy because they take from other people whatever they want. And a lot of people in this situation of electronic harassment, they don't speak up because of many reasons. Sometimes they think, what? Nobody's going to believe me, or people will be scared of me. So they just adapt a way of life that says, I'll deal with it. Some of them drink heavily. Some of them turn to drugs, self-medication. Some of them leave songs, subtle hints. So, anyway, I still believe that I can have a beautiful life despite what is going on. I will not let the life that I love, meaning my heart's desires, fulfillment, be prevented. And I go through things mentally all the time. They have teams of people that torment people like me day and night. For what reason? I'll be honest with you, I don't know. People say spiritual warfare, I say it's mental warfare. I can go back in my own life and I can realize that I have been being watched very closely my whole entire life, and most likely you have too. That's why we've been given a social security number. And a social security number is tied into a system, and it identifies you no matter where you are. It's called a chip in humans. But I don't know if it's necessarily a chip. It could be a whole lot different than things we could ever imagine. With that being said, I'll probably cut some of that stuff out. I wanted to get that out. I'm tired now. I'm ready to go home. Can I say that I miss the happy moments that happened at Huber Heights while Daddy was still there, while Emily was there, when J.O.N. was there. I miss the very happy moments that happened while William was there. God brought a child into my life while I was there, and unfortunately the mother had died with a heroin overdose. There was dogs there. Sudsy was there. And can I tell you, Daddy, if you see this, I told you that Sudsy Lane in front of the house on the street was very suspicious because I understood that Sudsy was a very intelligent cat. There's no way he would have jumped in front of a car. I'm convinced that either someone did it to send a sign within a neighborhood, or via satellite they zapped his brain, and that's where he laid to die. Meaning, I'm convinced that there's a means via satellite to target human beings and to shut down their bodies completely, their heart, their thought process. And the reason that I can say this as a witness, when I was in New Jersey, I explained to my psychologist that I was attacked by a miniature, demonic monster, much like an 80s stuffed animal toy I once saw. It looked like it had a whole bunch of 1,000 eyes. A lot of eyes. Like a little devil. Was it the New Jersey devil? It's a myth that they made up, is it? And I heard all these voices, demonic. And my body was frozen to the floor. I couldn't get up. And I was trying to scream for my girlfriend Lisa. I couldn't get up. And I realized that it was coming up my feet, up my legs, and it was like trying to attack me. What I realized is it was most likely trying to give me a heart attack. It was trying to take my life. In my opinion, it was no monster. It was satellite. People playing games with me. Satanist. Lisa could testify to the fact that I was scared and traumatized and said about this. I realized through other occurrences that happened to me that they have tried it once or twice since just living over in my new apartment. They try to get people, to manipulate people's thought process to A, give their life to Satan. It's a head game. And anybody, if that ever happens to you, don't ever give your life to Satan. Satan is death. When they say give your life to Satan, they're saying give your life to death. Okay? A true Satanist is all about death. A true Satanist. A true person who has come to the acknowledgement of Jesus Christ and what Jesus Christ stood for in humanity. They understand that they always want to choose life, not death. Jesus is real. And let me tell you, as you become, you will realize that you really need Jesus Christ to live day by day. It is a requirement. And sometimes I think to myself, why? All I wanted to do is accept myself. That's it. And all of this stuff came about. I was an adult entertainer for years, and I'm not crying about it. There was things I liked and things that I didn't like. I really wanted a home life, a family life. I want to do my music. And I want to record my music and share life with other people. The joy of life. I don't want to start any arguments or fights. Unfortunately, my loudest, aggressive anger outburst happened when I was busking. And I realized that I couldn't believe that people in the music industry were literally buzzing around me trying to give me advice, and they left me know I'm being watched closely. Well, who the heck wants to hear that after all these years of denial, hardships, and life's challenges? I don't need to see these people in mainstream and political fields as using me as a resource for whatever reason. Just for whatever reason. Okay? I still want the same things. I want to use my beautiful name, Tracilyn, in jewelry and clothing. I still want to do my music. I still want to tour. I still want a house ministry. I still want to be successful at life, fulfilling my heart's desires. And I still want to be close to God in the Holy Bible. And I would like and prefer to be around people that are okay with Tracilyn saying, it is all about God. If you ever hear anybody say it's best to leave God out of it, know this. You can't leave God out of it. God is everything, and it's all psychological. You want to fulfill your heart's desires. I want you to, and if anyone else really knew, they'd say, I agree. Wouldn't it be nice if everyone here alive today could get on that pathway to fulfilling their heart's desires? I'll tell you, I never heard a teacher speak like I speak. You might not see it, but I'm a blessing. I would never want to be a curse to the lives of other people, unless that's what they were worthy of in the eyes of God. I love you. I hope you love something within me, maybe a reflection of a little bit of yourself, the self that is saying to you, draw me closer to being more like, not like Tracilyn. I want to be more like Tracilyn. I want to maximize my fullest potential. You want to be the more you, the best version of you that you can be in this lifetime. And that comes along with all the wonderful blessings of true freedom to live, not large, to live the life that's inside of your desires, in your thought process, in your brain. By the way, don't you dare invest any more time serving the hearts of others, lest they truly need your assistance. The best thing that you can do, they say, is not catch a fish for someone to eat, but teach someone how to fish so that they can eat their whole entire existence. We might not be able to fulfill people's heart's desires, but we can nurture them every once in a while with friendly words of encouragement and gentle guidance. And the reward is seeing them become their heart's desires fulfilled. Instead of looking at other people's posters on the wall, why don't you take a picture of yourself? Have a poster made up at like Walmart or something and put that on the wall. Then tell yourself, this is the most amazing recording artist of all times, or this is the most amazing person, existence of all times. This is, what are you? What do you dominantly want to do with your life? Ride bicycle? Do you want to be a bodybuilder? Do you want to be a poet? A teacher? Do you want to be a mother? I've witnessed in my own flesh and blood DNA someone very special that was close in my life at one time. The whole world, including doctors, said there's no way she could have a child. I prayed for her often. She would ask me. She prayed. She cried. She had a child. I see them and I know that a miracle lives. Against the odds that all man said, no way. I witnessed that God delivers. Ask in the name of Jesus and know that somehow mysteriously it can become a reality. Love you.